Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maverick96, and, well, after quite a long time, I think almost 2 years, I am back. And today I've got for you some Battlefield 1 beta footage. Oh, that's just beautiful. That's one thing I love about this game already, is that it shows the animations of reloading the gun, at least here. I haven't been inside one of the larger tanks, or the land ship, but that's cool. Anyways, like I said, it's been about 2 years since my last video. I kind of fell out of it with college, but now I've got more time on my hands. I should be more available. I should be able to start making more videos, and that's a good thing. So, what we got here, we got the Battlefield beta, this little artillery gun. I suck. I really kind of suck at this game, unless I'm in a vehicle, in which I'm mildly okay. Otherwise, infantry combat, I just suck. So, but overall, I like the game. It's good. It looks damn good. I'm running it on low settings because I don't have a very good computer, or a great computer. But it's good. And it looks pretty. That is always a plus for any game. Here and there, there's some things that could be changed, obviously, but of course it's beta, so we have to remember that, and we have to remember that also after the time that I recorded this, but not after before posting the video. They've already released an update for the beta to open up more stuff, so people can get more testing in and do more and have more fun. And that's great. That's lovely. By the way, that guy, he's a dick. He shot at me just to get me out of the turret and take it. But that's alright. You know, everybody. So, some of the things that I think could be changed, and some of the things that have been changed. So, when I was playing, the light tanks were OP as all hell. From my knowledge, they're already, or to my knowledge, they're already planning on fixing that, making them a little more balanced with the armor-wise and whatnot. But they're still fun, and I'll have some footage of that later, playing in there. But the light tanks are fun. Heavy tanks, I haven't gotten much playtime in a heavy tank, and haven't really gotten any playtime in a land ship either. Train, Behemoth, I've only fought against it, and when it has been on my team, I haven't been able to use it at all. It kind of sucks. So, of course, there's things here and there. The sniper rifles, so far, the Scout is probably my favorite class. It's fun, it's easy to use. My only problem is that there's not bullet drop. I'm used to bullet drops. It feels a little more realistic to have a little more bullet drop in there, but instead they've introduced bullet drag, which has a little bit of drop, but also means the bullet goes slower over time, farther out you shoot, which means it's harder to lead your targets. So it's got its ups and downs. I've played a little bit of the support class. The LMG is fun. It's interesting. I'm not very good with it. But my two best classes so far is... And as you can see, I still suck. I die. A lot. I don't claim to be good. But my two favorite classes so far is Scout and Assault. My personal favorite vehicle is the attack plane, as you can see. But again, I'm not very good. I'm getting used to the controls. But it's fun. You load that thing up with the tank hunter setup with the cannon, or the 57mm cannon, I think it is, which I don't think I have installed on this side yet. Yeah, no, currently I've only got the 20mm gun. But the 20mm gun still does some work. It still does pretty good if I can ever hit the target with it. Some of the biggest changes that I've noticed, killing people doesn't really matter, and getting killed doesn't really matter, so it's a double-edged sword. It doesn't mean much if I die. It means a bit more if I die while I'm in a vehicle, because now that vehicle is... and I pressed the wrong button there, I don't even know how. It does matter because that vehicle has a respawn time and then suddenly it's locked out for a short period of time for somebody else to use. But as for ticket counts, as everybody else probably watching this already knows, getting killed doesn't mean much because it's not a ticket bleed system anymore. You hold the majority of flags, you gain more tickets. And while that's nice, it also changes it up. I think EA's, or not EA, but DICE's goal here was trying to get people to PTFO, as everybody always complains about. Play the objective and get more. So it's not as lucrative to wipe out an entire squad anymore. While you still do get points for it, it's still more lucrative to capture the flag. So you can get 1,600 points just from sitting at a flag point and capturing it, even if you're with multiple other people. And that's fine, that's alright. It changes the dynamic a bit, and you still have people that are playing it the way they want to play it. They're having fun, they want to sit back and snipe, that's fine. But it still shifts more of the focus to the objective, and again, it's a double-edged sword, because in some cases it's good, in some cases it can be bad. Who knows? I guess we'll have to wait for the full release of the game to even find out. And at this point, these elite kits that you can pick up, I love them. They're so much fun. You get there's a flamethrower, there's the LMG guy, and I believe there's a tank buster, and that's also kind of weird. That's a bullet stuck in midair. Kind of like from The Force Awakens or something. But this kit, this is cool. You got a big ol' LMG. At this point, I think it's even a medium machine gun or HMG. And that thing's fun. It's great for suppression. I get a couple of kills with it, but nothing too amazing. Overall though, it's a good game. Vehicles, the vehicle combat is fun. My personal favorite, and I think many other people's personal favorite, is the light tank, just because it can be a beast. And each vehicle has multiple modifications, as I'll eventually get to somewhere in the video, where I'm picking through and I'm switching through and seeing what configuration I want to go with. I eventually choose that my personal favorite is the artillery-based light tank. Get a big ol', I think it's a 75mm main gun, and a LMG or a HMG, something like that, to suppress infantry. That thing is just a beast. The machine gun in it is great against infantry, and the artillery cannon in it is great against basically everything else. And of course, as you can see, I'm kind of going ham with the machine gun, but not doing very well, regardless. But like I said earlier, I'm getting back into it. I'm still new to the whole YouTube thing. For example, I have about 30 minutes of footage here. I don't have 30 minutes of talk. So there's going to be parts where I just quiet the heck down. Sorry, I don't want to anger YouTube with their new rules, despite the fact that that whole thing with YouTube, I'm not going to get into that. It's not worth my time. If a video gets demonetized, it gets demonetized. I don't care. Whatever. It's not like the ad revenue on YouTube is all that great anyways. So, tanks, fun. Light tank is my favorite. I've used the heavy tank. I didn't like it. Its mobility wasn't great. Maybe it would be better if I had a crew, squad with me to play with. At the time I didn't. And that's okay. You can still play perfectly fine without them on your own. But it's good. I didn't enjoy it, but it's a very good tank. The land ship, just the same. Very good tank, very hard to counter if you're just infantry alone. And that's a good thing. Tanks are OP. And they're a little OP, and that's good. It's meant to be like that. When you see a tank rolling up on your position, and you're sitting there holding a flag, that tank should make you rethink your life choices. Its very presence near you should make you rethink what you're doing. And rethink your tactics, and rethink the way you're going at this, because you're not going to be able to take that out alone. Either you call in for help, you run, tactical retreat, rearm, get another tank, wait for friends. But it forces you to change your strategy, and that's a good thing. It keeps the game from becoming one-sided. In Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, I just remember everybody would be an assault, or everybody would be an engineer class, and everybody would throw, the second a tank appears, 5 guided missiles. Just obliterate the thing. The tanks weren't scary, and tanks are meant to be scary. Especially if the setting of this game being in World War I, they're meant to be spooky. Sorry, spooky's the wrong word. We're not in October yet. They're meant to be scary. They're meant to make you sit back and think, should I be in this position? If the answer is yes, then you have to find a way to beat that tank. And it's not easy. Granted, I think the tanks could use a little bit of balancing. But overall, I think it's fine. I think the current system, light tank needs a little more armor debuff. Or armor nerf, sorry. But overall, everything else is pretty good. Work here and there, a couple bugs like that floating bullet you saw earlier, as if Kylo Ren appeared out of nowhere in the middle of World War I. As you can see, a couple things with hit rec recognition, because, you know, 57mm high explosive gun or anti-tank gun hitting a bomber is going to do some work. But there's some of the floating rounds again there, so they're everywhere. But you know, work in progress. Well, it is what it is. So, oh my god, I can't see myself talking for 30 minutes like this. I'm going to have to start recording shorter footage, but a full match is 30 minutes, so maybe I'll make some cuts here and there. Anyways, the air combat, I originally really thought it was going to be dull and boring, because honestly, in World War I, the planes were kind of slow. By today's standards, that is. Back then, they were the fastest things around. But still, regardless, by today's standards, the planes are a little slow. And I expected it to be kind of slow and lumbering, and the only really slow and lumbering combat vehicle there is the bomber. And it's a bomber. It's meant to be slow and lumbering. Otherwise, everything else is very good. Everything else is great. It's relatively high-paced. It's, and here you see, trying to, yeah, not my greatest moment there. But there's action in the air, and it's been changed so that, unlike Battlefield 4, where you had stealth fighters and attack jets, or ground attack fighters, whatever, you basically had the option between an F-35 and an A-10, or whatever the Russian and Chinese counterparts were, and that was me getting absolutely wrecked by the 57mm cannon and the tank killer variant. But you had the option of 2 jets, and quite frankly, either jet could do everything. But it's different here. You have the bomber that fills its role, and it can, I mean, that thing can be like an AC-130 for Pete's sake, with the way that front gun works. It's a big 20mm gun, I guess, and it does some good area damage, and I got some time in the gunner seat there, and that was pretty good. That was fun. As you can see, I'm taking out one of the other variants of the light tank. This is the flanker tank. It's got a little 20mm cannon that either fires a high explosive or a 20mm canister, I think. It's okay. And by that I mean it's really not. I guess it's alright. I guess I wasn't doing it right, maybe. I don't know. But everything else, back to the planes. You have the bomber, which could be easily countered by the fighter or the attack plane. The attack plane is essentially your multi-role. You can use it to attack. You can set it up for pounding infantry. You can set it up for pounding tanks, or you can set it up for killing a behemoth. Specifically the airship behemoth. I haven't gotten any time in the fighter because, quite honestly, the fighter itself doesn't really interest me all that much. But everything else I'm loving so far. It's great. It's fun. There's bugs here and there. I've heard a lot of people that I'm friends with and people that I play games with and whatnot saying that they've heard a lot of it just absolutely shit-talking the game based on stuff they've seen on forums or stuff they've seen. And there's the perfect counter to tanks, by the way. You get 5 guys with anti-tank grenades and you're gone. Anyways, people saying that the game sucks. It's an absolute meme, one of the people I know says, and let's just say he's a bit odd. So it's not that bad. It's a work in progress, yeah. I have high hopes for it. I'm not going to get my expectations up too high because, quite honestly, I'll just get disappointed if I do. But otherwise, everything else is looking great. It feels great. That kind of sucked. That was my fault, really, though. But it looks good. It feels good. It plays good. Even on what is not really the best. I'm running an $800 laptop. Not my greatest idea. I really should have gotten, say, the $800 PC. Yeah. Didn't go so well. It works, but it can suck at times. And here's my attempt at the heavy flame tank. I didn't really understand how it works. I don't have a crew, but I guess it's got the main gun, same main gun at the front, and the same everything else. It's just a couple of the guns are what's a couple of side turrets are the flamethrowers. I'm not sure. I don't know how it works. I did not do well on it. I do not really like the heavy tank. I'm sure I would more if I had a full crew, but otherwise I prefer. I think I would like the land ship, but otherwise I prefer the light tank. Not that I like to run solo, but I feel like the wolf pack of light tanks could do a fair sight more than a heavy tank. Maybe match a land ship, or maybe do a bit better than a land ship. But even here, yeah, a little roadkill. Even here, at some point, I know I get absolutely wrecked by something. So it's easy to counter tanks, especially if the pilot of said tank sucks, or the driver of said tank sucks. Gameplay, I enjoy the mechanics. It's fun, it's good. Like I said earlier, I'm repeating myself a lot. It's what, 11 p.m., almost midnight, so long week with school and whatnot. But it's good to have a game like this to come home to. I guess I did do pretty well in this tank. I don't know why I thought I didn't. It wasn't my favorite. I do prefer the light tanks so far. But I feel like this thing could be really a whole lot of fun. You hold down a point with a full squad of people, or going and doing getting in the land ship and holding down a point with a squad of people in that. Sorry, my throat is a bit dry. I should have prepared for this and gotten some water. So, as we're going, driving along, running into rocks, and thankfully not flipping like some things, and there's the behemoth. And this is where it gets fun. I love the mechanic of the behemoth. It's hard to beat, but it's fun. And I'm here shooting at it. Yeah, this is what... It kills me eventually, I believe. Like that. That big gun on the front, the artillery gun. But the thing is overpowered. And that's a good thing, just like the tanks. That thing rolls up and you want to rethink your strategy. And tanks, like the one I'm in here, won't do it. They unless you've got a large group of them and unless they don't attack it, it's not going to be enough. I found at least my personal best way to attack the behemoth is wait for it to come up and hit it with one of the stationary anti-tank guns, because those do some work on that thing. They do quite a bit of damage, and and quite frankly, I like using them. They're fun to use. It's fun to feel like you're a gun crew, and the way they do that reloading animation, rather than you just fire and you sit there, you actually feel like you're doing something. You feel like you're working the whole thing, and that's good. That's great. There we go. Trying. Fourth time's the charm. I guess each shot hit the gun itself and didn't actually kill the guy. But here I am, chasing down the train like an idiot in a heavy tank because I want to damage it. I want to do some work on that thing. Because it looks like a fun objective to try and kill.
We have lost objective Freddy.
But not paying attention to my surroundings and just kind of letting it roll past me, and there's the guy that gets run over, absolutely wrecked by the thing. And stupid enough to get out, so I'm trying to think of what actually kills me. I think it was... Ooh, does it?
We are losing objective.
Classic whodunit. I didn't record my voiceover for this, obviously, while playing the game, because I didn't have the time. I didn't know if I was going to get good footage for this for this stuff, or for this match. I didn't know how well it was going to go. I didn't think it was going to go well, so I wanted to make sure I had good footage. I will get into live commentary later on when I do have more time and a better ability to do so, with different videos or different stuff when I know I'm going to be able to get fairly good footage for what I'm working with. And that's just plain ironic. The guy with the flamethrower killed by an incendiary grenade. That if that's not sick humor, I don't know what is. So one thing that's been bugging me on this is the respawn time is it can be a bit of a pain, but it's all right at the same time. It's not that bad. It's I just wish there was an indicator, a timer, and if there is, I can't see it, or I haven't seen it. A timer of how long it's going to take before you respawn, because I often end up sitting there waiting, clicking the button until it lets me respawn. But of course, like almost all other videos coming out around now of this, we're in the Sinai Desert. It's a fun map, it's big, it's wide open. That Echo Objective E, or whatever they call it, I don't know what they call it. We're going after Freddy now, and that broken bullet's still there. So, I don't know what set me on fire there at all. But it's a big map. The horses are fun. They will kill you, regardless of whether somebody's on them or not. But the cavalry style is fun. The tanks are fun. The planes are fun. Overall, I think the beta is good and it's promising. I can only hope now that it doesn't get screwed up between here and there. I know DICE, they're great developers. It's a great development team. But I also know that they're owned outright by EA. And in the end, EA has the final say. And EA, it can be a bit of a... I don't want to say it, but it can be a bit of a pain. EA can really mess things up and really futs it up sometimes because they are EA. I don't know. They've gotten money grubby recently, I guess, in the past 5, 6, 10 years maybe. Yeah, maybe not 10 years, but 5 years, I'd say. They've gotten pretty money grubby. I guess it's trying to compete with Activision, trying to compete with other publishers out there, or them finally realizing and trying to keep themselves alive, because quite honestly, the age of the publisher, the age of the large-scale publisher is dying. It's coming to an end. Crowdfunding, early access style games, they're bringing an end to the large publisher. Just look at Star Citizen. They've got millions, hundreds of millions, if not, I don't even know what the number is anymore. It's too large for me to remember in crowdfunding support, and it's insane. They don't have a large-scale publisher backing them. That's just people that gave them money. And it would be really nice if some of the developers out there, like the development team for EA or for DICE, would realize that and would go out and start, crowdfunding the games and whatnot. But at the same time, I feel like if they ever did leave, EA would make them sign a non-compete agreement or clause, so they couldn't ever do it anyways.
We have taken objective apples.
And here I am, randomly swinging my sword to get kills, and a man jumping on top of me. I don't know how jumping on top of the horse causes the horse to kill you. I'm not going to read into it. Anyways, here I am looking at the light howitzer tank. I still end up choosing, I think I choose the light support tank, or close support tank, which is the main variant, the 37mm gun. But if I remember correctly, at this point, yes, it spawned me in. No, it didn't even spawn me in the tank. I guess I didn't take the tank at this point. At one point, I went to spawn in a tank, and it spawned 2 tanks at once. And I guess somebody else got my tank, and I ended up getting thrown into the artillery tank, or next to an artillery tank, and that was a bit odd, but it worked out, because the artillery tank is fun. I would imagine the artillery truck is fun too, but you put the word tank there, and it just gets that much better. The word tank feels good. And as you can see, every match I've played has been a relatively close match. It's been, I had one match that was 299 to 298, and when we won it was 300 to 299. That was nerve-wracking. But as long as you're able to take and capture the objectives and hold them, you can win. It's not a matter, and I like that. It's not a matter of somebody just, stalemating out the objectives, taking half the objectives and leaving it so the tickets can't build or bleed, and then just winning the entire thing based on kills, and it makes it harder. And the base campy stuff still does happen, but it's not to a point like they'll set up, and it doesn't matter how many flags you have. They'll base camp you, and this happened a lot to me in Battlefield 4. They'll base camp us, and they'll spawn camp us, and they'll kill us right out of spawn before we even get a chance to do anything. It doesn't matter how many flags there are. That's what they do. And I finally get into a heavy tank, and the match ends, or it's about to end. Anyways, moving on. I'm hoping to get more of these videos out. I'm hoping to get back into this. Hoping to get into streaming too. I've started up my own little game, my own little community. It's called Front Towards Enemy, FTE Gaming. We have a team speak. If anybody who does see this and is interested, go ahead and comment it all. We'll have a chat, and take a look at it if you're interested in joining. But of course, it's a small community. I don't really have the money to maintain a large TeamSpeak server. I only have 25 slots. But we're looking to grow. As for what should be coming next, I've got another video of this lined up, ready to go, ready for editing. And hopefully maybe some War Thunder in the future, maybe some Arma 3, other shooters, other simulators and whatnot. And as for that, I think that's all. So, thanks for watching, guys. If you liked it, hit the like button. Maybe subscribe if you want to see more. And I will see you next time.